Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Ayer.
Here.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mr. Van Stone, who doesn't seem to have his, oh, yeah, you do. Mr. York.
Here.
All right, we need a motion and a second to excuse Marcy and Susan.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone. Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, any question regarding the minutes from the July the 14th meeting? No? Everything looked good? If so, motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone. Aye. Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, in communications, you all saw the letter from Duke regarding the gas inspections that's going to be going on. Residents will be contacted. We put this out on the email blast. We put it out on the website. So if a Duke representative should call you and say they want to do, a gas inspection and enter your house to do that, they are in the neighborhood. They are doing that. However, I would advise if you do have a doubt or you're uncertain, then call the office first or something like that. I mean, you don't necessarily have to agree to it right then and there on the spot if you're uncertain.
Check the ID.
Just a safety tip, that's all. All right, Chief, we've got your monthly report. Any comments on that? I looked it over. It looks like crime is down, except for the auto thefts.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything. If anybody has any questions.
Questions about it? Any questions about it? No? Okay.
I do. Can you tell?
Sure.
Could you explain the auto thefts to us, please?
Well, we're just like most other communities in the tri-state area, not just in the county. We're experiencing and have been now for well over a year, autos being stolen. And we've recovered, I think we've had probably, in the last year and a half, probably 16, 18 stolen. And we've recovered all of them but one. We had one stolen over the weekend and recovered it the next day with a couple of arrests of young juveniles. So it's what's going on. They're in large numbers. Cincinnati PD said the other day they thought there were maybe as much as 200 in that group. So.
Are they leaving the keys in the car?
Yeah, a lot of people are. Yeah, the key fobs. I think what happens with the new vehicles, newer vehicles, you push to start, and a lot of people puts their key fob in their cup holder or wherever in their car, and they come home and they push the button, turn it off, and just don't think about the fact that the key fob's in the car. But the people doing this, that's the first thing they do is hit the button to see if the car's going to start.
If the key fob is in the car, you can't lock the car either, so it's
Right.
kind of a double,
Okay, thank you, Chief.
yeah.
But, and like I said, it's, I want our residents to be more vigilant in not leaving the key fobs in their cars, but other communities are having the same problem. So it's not just our residents that's doing it. It's a bad habit that a lot of people are getting into.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess everybody's seen the gas aggregation contract recently signed. We're hooked on, we're locked in for a gas rate for another year. The information regarding anyone who wishes to opt out, the opt-out documents, I believe, are mailed around, kind of a thing. They're easy to fill out if you don't want to participate in this. you don't have to, but you are automatically opted in. All right. All right, the last thing we have on communications, of course, is Chris's recommendation for Team All Sport. I think we're going to have a larger discussion about this later. I mean, do we want to make any comments about it now, Chris? I mean, like I said, we'll have a larger discussion here in a little bit. Okay. All right, then, permission to address council. Get up and tell us your schedule.
All right, I'm Mandy Beecroft from the library. So we are closing for renovations. Our last day in will actually be this coming Friday, August 1st. We're closing at our normal 6 p.m. And then they're just basically putting big signs, tape around the doors and everything so people can't come in. We've had signage in there for a couple weeks now. So we're expected to reopen sometime in December. That's the goal right now. So I will continue to come to meetings and keep you updated on the progress as much as I know. But in the meantime, staff will just kind of be shipped to other locations. Holds, so anyone who has holds to pick up at the Mariemont branch, they are automatically going to be rerouted to Anderson unless you select otherwise. So we have had a lot of feedback that people in the community do not want to drive to Anderson. They'd rather go to Madisonville or Madeira. We can change all that for you, or you can go online and change it yourself as well. So I do encourage people to give us a call if they're concerned about that, and we can switch everything over for them too. We're going to try to have some level of programming still around the community. So we've been talking to the Fairfax Rec Center, and they do have a space that we can use from time to time for some of our programming. So the adult book club that we have on the last Monday of every month in the evening, we will be continuing that. It'll just be at the Fairfax Rec Center. The first Monday of each month, we're going to have for tweens and teens, we have a Dungeons and Dragons program. We were previously having that on Saturdays, but we're bumping that to Monday evenings just to work with the Fairfax Rec Center schedule. And then we'll have the occasional one-off program. So one that we have planned for now, Playhouse in the Park is going to be coming in again to the Fairfax Rec Center, to their bigger space, and they're doing an interactive audience participation program, especially for families. It's video game based, and the kids all get to kind of pick their own character, and they get to shout out what they want the actors to do next for it. So that is zombie themed. So that's going to be on October 30th. So kind of, to go along with Halloween.
Costume?
I assume the players will be in costume. I don't know if the kids will. Sure. That would be extra fun if they do, I think. But yeah, that's what we have planned for now. If anything else comes up, if there are any questions, just let me know. I'll keep updating everything. Yeah.
Is there going to, in the signage, will it say where the next closest open library is?
Yes. So the best options are going to be Madisonville is probably the closest mileage-wise. Madeira and then Mount Washington, they are also closed, but they're in a temporary space now. So you can still go into the Mount Washington branch, just not in their usual location. About a month after us, Oakley will be closing as well, and they're not too far, so something to keep in mind too. So us, Mount Washington, and Oakley will all kind of be somewhat out of the picture for a few months, at least through December, because they had to kind of contract the bids in a larger group to get a better bid.
Great.
Anything else? All right, thanks everyone.
Good luck. Good luck on that.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Anybody? Guess you kind of got your question in. Are we all good? Yeah. All right. All right, any question regarding the bills?
I just had a question. Maybe this comes up all the time.
Sure.
It just stuck on me. $2,700 for bank fees?
I saw that. I saw that in there today when I was looking through that. I know.
Was that some special?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
$27.50 for bank fees.
I'll take a look at that.
Yeah. What are we getting for that kind of fee?
Good question.
That's a lot of paper shuffling, something. I don't know.
I'm sure it's a combination of, credit card fees and
Yeah.
probably authorized.net deductions that were taken, but I'll get the detail.
Thank you.
I do remember, Richard at one point talked about how PNC was rather expensive, and he had thought of you know, he contemplated starting to check around and see if other banks would be better, but.
That's right. All right, well, I'll have to look into it. Any other questions then regarding the bills? If not, motion and a second to pay the bills.
So moved.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone? Aye. Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. Well, moving on to the committee reports. I went ahead, Randy, and I included the past report in here, although it's already basically been read. It's just that the, one item, accept the bid for the dogwood work, and I think this is probably the time where you want to get up and sort of, Chris, and give us a brief explanation of what you learned and.
So yeah, hopefully the committee got the memo. It looks like it's in the packet as well. So we, with Rod's assistance, we called some references for both companies, figured out who exactly was doing what work as far as the work goes, as far as the field and the turf. Looks like Tumlin was going to outsource that to a subcontractor called Acra. We were not very happy with their extensive or non-extensive experience in fields. They could do landscaping just fine, but this is a little bit more than just landscaping. So we brought Team All Sports in and talked to them for about an hour, hour and a half to get a lay down of what they would do, how they would work it. Turns out they would do 90% of the work themselves, and as the conversation got further, it sounds like he could do all of it himself. So the field thing was something they do every time. I've got, I think, either 15 or 20 fields that he's been worked on. So we feel pretty confident that we've got the right guy for the job. So I can go into more details, or if you want questions or.
Questions?
So you and I had talked a week ago Friday, and I had requested a special council meeting. At that point, when we talked, this was all done, and you characterized the Thursday meeting as a pre-construction meeting. I'm just wondering what happened.
So basically, we needed to bring them in and make sure that we could get the pricing figured out. So we have to award it based on the $637,000 figure. We're going to take some things out that we are not going to do. Irrigation is going to be removed, some other things, making sure that was still okay, that they would want to proceed with the work at that changed price. So what we talked about was so this was a pre-award meeting technically, and then at the pre-construction meeting, I'll present paperwork for a change order to take out the things that are not going to be performed. And during this meeting, we figured out what's going to be performed, what's not going to be performed, and then.
So what's not going to be performed?
So they are about
Because my issue with this is this body vetted this for 2.5 years, and we voted unanimously to accept the plan. All of the 45 applications I filled out all had these plans in it. The 143 individuals who gave to this plan. So if we're changing the plan, we need to know if it is substantive and can affect all those things. The 6 federal grants all had that narrative of what we were doing. So, to me, I'm a little worried that we unilaterally make some decisions of cutting things out when this body never talked about it. And it wasn't part of the plan from the very beginning. So that worries me.
And that is a very good point that he's raising, in that meeting, it was my understanding and belief that basically what you were discussing were potential options as ways to save money. However, I'm not really certain that the actual decision has been made. These were things that you discussed, and possibly, maybe it should have gone back into your committee to actually make the recommendation. What exactly are we in fact doing?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think we're looking for a little bit of help and guidance. I mean, we know that we don't have enough funds currently to do the entire plan and vision. We thought our work is to figure out with the funds we have and the vision created, what elements of the plan we could execute with the money we have. And that's the plan, that's sort of what
And
we're
that's
going
right.
on, recognizing that we're not gonna be, I think we got the full bids back, and with the alternates, we're well over $2 million. So we're still, the lighthouse vision of what the plan could look like is still there. I think the things we're doing are building blocks to that vision, but we haven't changed the vision. We just don't have the funds to execute the vision.
So so we had the plan in the bid. What has been taken out? Irrigation?
So wholesale irrigation, as far as replacing the entire system, is an option to be removed, and then we would modify the current irrigation system to the new locations of the ball fields.
Okay,
The other item that was removed was exporting material off of site, just to bring in new material to change the field, and bring them in.
yeah,
We can do that
I don't disagree with your approach at all. I want you to know that, and I respect and appreciate your approach. I just think we have to be sensitive to all these building blocks that came up to this point.
Right, and if you think it would be valuable for us to come back to the committee with how we're thinking about the approach to executing, we'd be happy, I think, to do that.
Well, the other thing is, we are down to the wire on timing. When you think of, first off, we gotta get the grass planted in in September, early October, or else we compromise a spring season. We know that we've appropriated the money, but we've gotta be budget neutral, by the end of the year. So we're pushing it, really pushing it now, so I don't necessarily want to wait any longer on any of this, but I think we just simply need to understand, if it's irrigation, and Matt and I had a conversation, and I actually got an email from Chris Dalton walking over here. We're in that 936 is in the appropriations package. We made it for fiscal year 2026, but they have to pass a budget. So that's still a long shot. So when Matt and I talked is, do we take these out of the scope right now? And if we get that influx of money in 2026, then we can come back. And it's inefficient, certainly, to do it this way, but can we come back and do those things then?
Yeah, we're doing what needs to get done in irrigation to put in the new fields. So some of the lines along, as the fields shift, they go into the sprinkler system. Those heads can't be in the dirt. And we're also trying, at the same point, respect that we've received input from the big donor who's very invested in baseball, that he actually wanted to include a watering head as an alternative to what he previously provided as input. So we're trying to figure out a way to both deactivate a couple zones as well as create a dedicated zone for the center behind the pitching mound of all the fields is how we're thinking about the baseball.
What's a watering head?
It's a large large volume that he would like to be able to turn on to keep the dust down, which he thinks ultimately will keep the fields in better shape.
Oh, just like
and
they use
maintain.
at the ballpark.
But instead of having somebody that's dragging it by
Yeah.
the whole, it's literally a pop-up high flow head that sits behind the pitcher's mound that can be manual activated. Obviously, he'd like to do it Wi-Fi, but we at least agreed that we'll give him some way to turn it on. And it saves the fields long-term, especially in these dry droughts, to wet it down. You can do it before games, in the middle of the games. So it seemed like a reasonable request.
And there would be sufficient volume of water in the current system to run something like that?
Yeah, it's just a single head per field,
Uh-huh.
so it's less than what you'd say a zone would pull today. It's
Okay.
just all goes through a high flow, high throw head.
Okay, all right.
But
So is
we want to move quickly. I mean, we want to, and the piece of the baseball field, we feel like we've got a pretty good vendor who is very knowledgeable. I think we simplified his life by not bringing in a sub to do a lot of the earthwork in the center. And we came away feeling like it was a simple way to get it done. He thought I could knock it out in a month, and get us maybe back on schedule, allow us now to then focus on the loop trail and the tot lot and other elements of the vision, and just figure out how we can put this together with the budget we've got.
In the, so when Team All Sports, I understand they can start the first week of August, like August 4th or something like that.
Yeah, I
And-
think Chris has some requests for help to do that, but yes, they're able to get us prioritized, yes.
And they believe they can get their work done in 1 month, is that
Yeah.
also correct?
Right.
That's what they told us.
Are they making any kind of a commitment to that? I mean, I know there are certain things like you can't do anything if we were to get a week of rain or something like that, but this time of year, our odds are pretty good. Is there any kind of, what I want to make sure that we don't do, and I think that we're fine, but with us starting as late as we are, that we don't get started and have the fields halfway torn up and then not be able to finish before construction season or whatever. So
You feel comfortable that we're in
Yeah,
good
but
shape
we asked him a number
timing-wise?
of times, is it easier to start one field, get it done, and then move to the next field? He goes, no, no, no. It's
Right.
nice to do them all three, kind of bring them up together, and he thought it was a relatively straightforward execution. He requested that we decommission the parking lot that's down at that corner of Pleasant, and just to give it to him so he can stage super
Yeah,
sacks
makes sense.
and other materials and things there, and keep that as his lot during the construction zone, but, he also didn't feel like we needed to, segregate or put any other fences on the fields during construction. He was fine with, he's not creating any open trenches, and he'll finish the work in such a manner that people could actually walk on it if they had to.
And then, what will he do with the turf in the center? Are we gonna renovate that, or are we going to just oversee?
We talked that, he's obviously gonna have to shoot some grades, and he's gonna try to get that transition as good as possible. Areas that are dirt now, as we shift over, there may be some need for localized seeding or grassing on the outsides of some of the areas. So he's gonna have to do some patching and repair of some of the areas that get damaged.
But the center section, we're just basically leaving as is, not doing anything at all?
At this moment. I mean,
Okay.
it's not necessarily the vision. If we have a sufficient amount of funds to do everything, we can come back and do that. We probably won't do it this fall. It would be the conclusion right now. But that doesn't mean we don't do it when
So
money's
where,
there.
based upon all this, where are our numbers?
We haven't put all the numbers together yet, because we really don't know what, we have an idea of what things are. We thought once we noodled the numbers together on the fields that we were probably a little bit around 3.25 for the field work, which includes the fences. We think maybe the loop trail could come in around 150.
That's what we had budgeted.
We've done some preliminary discussions with the turf people on the tot lot. We think that's gonna be 150-ish without the equipment. We're still trying to get with, is it Maggie?
Yeah.
On finalizing the equipment plan there, and hopefully we can put the pieces together. We still gotta add the dog drinking fountains and a few other odds and ends and fences and whatnot, but I think we have a line of sight of doing elements in this stuff and still staying within the budget we currently have.
So the 637 that's in here is, that's not the adjusted number that you were,
Correct.
that you're saying?
Correct.
You're
It
gonna
shall
cut
not
back.
exceed 637.
Correct.
And it's not come close to 637.
Yeah, what I thought I heard is more like 3 something, I don't know.
Right.
that, You know.
With the change orders.
We'll take, yeah, day one, we take out $240,000 of the project, we could just like $595 or something like that, or even lower than that, maybe it's at $395. So, get the calculator there, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then some of the things we're gonna leave in there about excavation, if he doesn't think he'll need it, but we're gonna leave it in for now. If he doesn't need it, it's another 20,000 saved.
Yeah, I guess I just, as far as what is different, you're adding the water to the infield. That wasn't in the original plan.
I think irrigation, I mean, I don't know how literal, I think we need to have some discretion with the plan to say what is the plan or not. I don't view necessarily putting a sprinkler head there versus somewhere else in the field is changing the plan.
Yeah, because I think that what I recall about the original construction is to put that with a drinking fountain at the site.
Yeah, I think what it was intended, I think originally was he wanted an underground manual valve that he could
Yep.
put a hose, but then I think he's backed off that day. I think he realizes it's a pain in the butt, and he's got to store a hose, and it won't quickly wet things as quick as getting an automatic sprinkler head in there.
So, again, as far as plan we have right now, irrigation, any attention to the athletic fields is gone. Yes?
I mean, you're, I don't want to,
For now.
for now, like I said, you mentioned before, I don't think we want to change the vision at this point. Unfortunately, we don't have funds to fund the vision at this point. So we're trying to do as many building blocks to get us to the vision within the budget constraints we have.
Understood?
Okay.
Okay, so is there anything else that's different? Does the fencing change or anything like that?
Not at this point. I think we've received some input on fencing and loop trail that we need to work through, and that may involve going back to your committee.
Okay. But if we're awarding a contract, aren't those?
For the ball fields.
That's all yeah, all this is, right?
So no changes to the fencing, and as far as
Not at this point.
all of the specs, and I'm not a baseball expert of the clay on the infield and the pitcher's mound, and that's all the same.
Yeah, the clay is saying, as far as the bricks for the.
How much are you asking us to approve today? Because I just got thrown a loop. I thought the bid was 637.
The bid for 637 was for everything.
Right.
And I applaud you. They looked at it and said, hey, how can we stretch this and get this done? And these are components that we can adjust.
The contract that we will be signing here, the
Is
contract that I have
637.
is for the because that was the bid amount.
Right.
And then once that is signed and in place, then the alterations, change orders and so on and so forth
And
will
the
be
change
made.
orders are basically all irrigation. Are there any other elements to that change order?
Irrigation and excavation. So the original project was to remove most of the dirt from the infields and truck it away, and then bring in new dirt to rebuild it. We don't need to do that. If we wanna be cost conscious, we can move those fields in with the dirt we have.
Okay.
Now, once again, it's not the vision up here, it's the vision down here.
I understand that, but what is a wrong, rough order of magnitude guess of what all that work's gonna cost?
You just said it, you said about 395.
Six thirty-seven minus 240,000. If you
Oh,
give me
that's
that
not-
number,
So that's
And then you have
that's
the
397.
that's 397?
390.
That we're taking
393.
back.
Right.
But I think
And
there's
this is
still,
consistent with the vision.
Right.
You guys both are comfortable.
397.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's
yeah,
not just
Bob,
that, Randy, I'm
I'm just.
yeah, no, it's
I'm
just
comfortable
637
with it.
minus 240, right? That's
Yep.
in there.
Says it right where?
Pardon me?
I thought you said it said it right here.
No, I said just, it's the 637
Yeah.
that's in the report minus 240.
Okay, I got it. I'm just
and
trying to understand.
there are other elements that we actually talked to them that could actually reduce that amount further. We're just not ready to do that at this moment.
Well, and Team All Sports is the guy. And, you know, and I don't understand exactly because whether or not this was the right thing from the very beginning or not to take that material out and replace it, I can't tell you if that's the right decision or the wrong decision. It just, throughout the process, it came into being. But they know what they're doing. So if they're comfortable that they can give us playable, manageable, long-term fields without doing that, then I'm comfortable.
That was definitely our
There's nothing that
takeaway.
we're doing here that's, would keep us in the future to redo irrigation or to laser level the grass in the future when we have sufficient funds and do that next fall. There's no reason why we couldn't do that.
Yeah. Since we're not touching the infields, then what are we reseeding that we have to worry
Well, there's
about?
areas that are fields today that could be grass in the future, so it's minor touch-ups, stuff like that.
Oh, so it's just sort of minor areas that
That's
we're,
right, but we want them to look good
Because
as well.
you're moving some of the dirt areas, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
you'll have to see
They're
where it used to
reoriented,
be.
yeah.
And will the fields,
but not the big area out in the.
Right.
you know,
Right.
yeah.
will the drainage from the fields be a problem? Will we have lakes between the fields?
I would say they'll be no worse than today. We are cognizant, and as we approach and think through the loop trail, we're gonna also look at maybe doing a little bit better drainage in the two areas that go down the Whiskey Creek between the fields. But it's not necessarily baseball field work at the moment.
The question I have is, would it be better to do that regrading now than later?
So our point is, we're trying to do I hate to use the word bare minimum, we're working toward a vision, but we really wanna do the essential, get the fields right and get the fences in, and then quickly get going on this loop trail, and then hit all elements to get, hopefully touch as many of the customers are interested in the dream, but not necessarily do all elements of the dream at the start. But and correct me, I mean, this is your legislature. If you're telling me that it's not important to do anything in the tot lot this year and show any signs, then, and not do anything on the loop trail, then we could certainly go ahead and spend $637,000, maybe get some change orders, and we're at 7 or whatever. We don't have that much money left.
Yeah, but but to Randy's point, all those applications for the funds. The loop trail was definitely part of the project. So if we all of a sudden deprioritize that and we don't get to it because we're out of funds, it's like, well, wait a minute now, we just didn't meet our commitment that we made when we asked for
Right,
these
and
funds.
that was our thinking as well.
Right.
We wanna do as many of the elements that were in all the applications, maybe not to the level yet, but nothing we're doing now is not possible to hit this vision in the future. We're not moving the trail around to not be able to make that parking lot bigger in the future, for instance. We're not doing things to the baseball fields, and we're not grading them differently than we would if we had to go back and do the irrigation and infield work. It's gonna be the same elevations he's gonna target regardless.
Yeah, it's on the path. It's on the path. If there's a pathway to the vision, you're on that pathway towards it. You're just not getting all the way there at this point in time.
But, you know.
Because of funds, I totally
Yeah.
get that. You know, we don't
Yeah,
have the
if-
money,
if-
so we
if
can't.
We're more than happy to go to a committee once we put together the other elements and share where we had to make the cuts in certain areas to just let us know when's a convenient time to do that.
I have a couple questions. One is that, speaking as the safety chairperson, if we're going to keep the bell tower open, top lot's open, the bell tower's open with its restrooms, I think it would be wise for us to insist on putting even if it's just a snow fence put up with metal fence posts along that line to keep kids and parents and stuff out of the whole construction zone. I don't think it would add a tremendous, I think our service department would probably do it much more cost effectively than the contractor, especially if they rent a piece of equipment to pound those posts in real quick. I just see that as being a safety concern. If we're keeping that open, that we would want to segregate the construction area from where kids are gonna, and families are gonna be walking to the bell tower. And
And we can do that, it's an item cost, and we'll
Yeah.
get it, and if it's crazy high, we'll let you know, but assume we'll do that.
And then, Chris, I'm not as familiar as you are about municipal purchasing rules, policies, and laws, but if we know that we selected Team All Sports, that they had the best bid, they're the best bid that we have. Is there a law, or why is it that we have to sign a contract for $637? Why can't we sign a contract for what we're gonna issue a purchase order for?
Basically, I've got practically a legal document that says what their bid is. Even if there's math errors from their point of view, it's the math error that I produce, that the village has to go by. So we've got to do a contract with that amount in it.
And where is that, will I find that in Ohio Revised Code someplace, or where?
I believe you will. I don't have the Bible and verse for you right now, but this is how we've done operations for, at least in my municipal background, for the last 20 years. Is that you can do this, but it's got to be after the fact that you award it.
But we're not doing it just because that's the way the city of Cincinnati does it.
I understand. So we can have Ed look into this as well.
Yep, and the same thing that, Randy talks about, it's go time, we need to issue, if we have to sign the contract at that, as long as the council understands, we're not issuing a purchase order for that amount, we're issuing a purchase order for approximately $400,000. That's what you want authorization.
No, the purchase
So we
order
have
will be
to-
issued for the amount of the contract.
And
Does it
then,
get
have to
amended
use
once they accept the change orders, then do you amend that?
We wouldn't need it, we just wouldn't spend as much out of it, and then the purchase order.
Yeah, but if you lock it up, so if they come back and find some other
You wanna
people.
have the full amount until you know what it's gonna end up, till the last penny, and then you free it back up. for
Sure,
use.
but again, because you want to free it up, once they're done with the work, if they have another company that's coming in, they can start doing some of the other work. You don't want to lock up all that money.
Well, we wouldn't issue the purchase order to the vendor, we would have issued it to the project. So
Okay.
that multiple vendors can utilize that particular purchase.
Okay,
It'll be a blanket purchase order.
okay,
But not issued to Team All Sports.
no,
For the project.
right? You just said it's not for Team All Sport, the PO will be.
The purchase order will be a blanket purchase order for the project. It would
Then
go to
individual
the
companies can do it.
4903 contractual services. And Team All Sports would get paid out of that. And then if they get paid less, it's still available for other use.
Okay, yeah, I would hate to see it get locked up, sort of, by that.
So, right, did you, that cash flow analysis I sent you?
Yeah.
So, when I did this, I had 640 for this project. And I still had this based upon the reimbursements we have, that we can do everything except for the parking lots, 2 parking lots in 2020, this year. But you're not seeing it that way.
Well, we also need to make sure we cover ourselves a little bit with risk and contingency. And we're gonna sit down with Kelly. I mean, we're gonna work with her on this, and we're gonna try to get as much as we can get done.
Yeah, because this only had $67,000 left over.
I understand.
So that was the contingency.
Well, and you have to bear in mind on a reimbursement, you know, it doesn't happen in a week or two. The reimbursements, we pay the vendor,
Understood?
then we have to supply whoever the grantor is with proof of payment,
Correct.
and then submit the reimbursement, and then we're at the mercy of the grantor as to when they get it back to us.
Right.
I'm gonna say it's at least a 2-month process.
Don't we also, we took the money for doing the sidewalk along Pleasant. We have to spend that by when?
No, there's time left on that.
Oh, I know, but it's sometime next year,
Yeah.
right? It's like, I don't know when it was. But there is a
Yeah.
deadline
There is.
that we have to have that segment of the project done.
I can look that up, yeah. That's
Yeah,
in
but
this
that's
sort
the
of
other thing
agreement.
we need to look at, is obviously meeting the parameters of the grant for reimbursement.
Or getting an extension from sorta to do the work if we need it.
I mean, there's a workaround, it's just a matter of the heads that are involved sitting down, aligning.
So I thought we had talked about Tumlin doing the north and south.
And they still will.
Do you have any idea when that will happen?
So that goes back into that bigger plan, right? We need to figure out when Team All Sports wants to come in, because you don't want to hurt them or enable, put up a barrier to them getting access to the field.
Or them
Yeah,
screwing
but
up
I
the
would
sidewalk.
think that if you're talking about the extreme north and south end, I'm not sure if that would affect.
I don't think it will. It's, just, I guess, pardon my saying so, but let us figure that out and we'll come back and tell you when. Right now, I talked to Tumlin on Friday. We don't have a good idea of when I want them to come in to do this, because we're still trying to figure out when Team All Sports wants to come in and do this.
Is Team All Sports gonna be using that parking lot?
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
stage,
that
they'll have a
south parking
staging
lot.
area there.
Which parking lot will that be, the one
Probably don't
closest to
want
Mar-
sidewalk anywhere near then until after they're through.
So that's something that we need to take into account. Maybe they build the north piece and then we send them away and they come back and build the south piece after Team All Sports is done with the staging area of the south parking lot?
Or maybe when we get the loop trail done, we can. All right, so what needs to happen? What needs to happen that I hear shovels in the ground on
August
August
4th.
4th?
Well, we're gonna move on to that here in a minute. We got the resolution, we're gonna pass that, now we've got the contract. We're gonna
So,
okay
Chris,
that.
I'm sorry, Chris, do you have everything you need to do this?
Yeah, we
To
just,
get them
the
started?
legislation's in place, I've got the contract here, I think Bill's got a copy of it as well. If we
Yeah.
sign both of it tonight, I can get it back to them. I just need to know when the money's encumbered and we can write them a notice to proceed.
All right, so we approve this tonight. Mayor signs it. You get it to Team All Sports tomorrow. And
Yeah, we could tell them, hey, you're clear to start August 4th.
clear to start,
And then-
tomorrow.
Well,
We have to have
We
the
may
contract
want to
signed
meet
and
with
a
them on the
purchase
field
order.
before they start officially putting, because I do have to get the archaeologist on board.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, we've talked to them about that, so that's a little wrinkle, but we'll work that out.
All right, so the next phase is the loop trail. So when does that happen?
Well, I think they said they gotta come back to you. They gotta understand the calendar, right? You gotta.
We gotta take a look at that, because that's one of the reasons I don't want Tumlin to come in, because maybe we'll ask for
But-
a price from Tumlin to do the loop trail at the same time he does the north and south sidewalks.
But could we start on the process of finding a vendor for the loop trail and saying that we know that it's going to be September 30th or September 15th or whatever? I don't want us to be sitting here when they're done and saying, oh, now we gotta wait 4 weeks because we gotta start and getting bids for the loop trail. I want us to be able to piggyback this stuff because we've got to get, we have to get that done, we have to get the baseball fields done, the loop trail done, and the sidewalk done, so we can see this fall. And we have to do it so we have, I'm thinking 90 days to get reimbursed before the end of the year.
So you-
At the end of the year, it doesn't have to be equal, right? I mean, you talk to a higher auditor about that. You can always,
As far as,
When Randy's saying, oh, it has to be all reimbursed before the end of the
Yeah,
year.
the books
No,
have to
no,
be
no,
squared
no,
up.
we will.
no, that, right. We want to reimburse as soon as possible. so
Sure,
we can
sure.
go
We're
back
gonna
to
get
the coffers,
advances from
but-
the general fund. We will go in the red, spending money.
You can't go, you can't go in the red.
Can't. You win.
Well, no, it's been encumbered.
Okay. Yeah, she's, again, you can't go negative in the fund, just remember that. So you need to make sure that there's enough appropriate.
Relative to tonight, I'd like,
Yeah,
what we wanna do is pass the legislation, and the goal is we're gonna be spending $397,400. And
Thereabouts.
that's what our actions are tonight. I realize, I think the discussion you had about how we go forward should be done in the committee.
I agree.
All right. Any other questions regarding this? Are we good?
Moving.
To Randy's point though about the shovel in the ground, don't the engineers have to stake that field a little bit to know where they're gonna put the shovel? Yeah, that'll happen first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs 4 points on every ball.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So I need a survey area here as well.
Yeah,
So,
okay. That I think would be the first move, right?
yeah.
Yeah, other than the phone call.
Right.
All right.
So, one last thing, the way the resolution is written, we have the construction for the total cost of 600 and some thousand dollars.
637.
637, and then it says, we have Exhibit AA with Team All Sports for the construction, total is 637. Fiscal officer is authorized to pay Team All Sports the amount of 637, but we don't have any intention to pay Team All Sports 637.
Authorized to pay, not going to pay, authorized to pay.
This goes back to how if it's in the contract, you have to authorize what's in the contract because you haven't made the change orders. There hasn't been an agreement to the change orders, correct?
Right. It's a verbal.
At this stage, but then it's gonna be written, right?
Exactly.
Just doesn't make sense to me. but that's-
All right, we good, we're moving on here. Everybody, all the questions you good?
We have done that with streets before too. We've had streets where we've said, oh, well, we'll just accept this total bid, but we're gonna order to issue change orders to make changes to it.
Yeah.
That will change the price down or whatever. You know. So, we have done it in the past. Right?
Yep.
All right, next on the agenda would have been Marcy's committee report regarding the CRA. Of course, we don't have enough signatures here tonight to read that. However, if there's no objection, I do have the resolution for that. I'd prefer to have the first reading on that tonight. We'll read the committee report next time. We good?
It's fine.
All right, apparently we don't have anything in miscellaneous.
Bill, can I ask a quick question about the report, though? So, I mean, the meeting was held on June 3rd. Because I know this has been a really important thing for you in getting this done. There's a 2-month lag, sort of. I'm just curious.
Well, there was some back
What was
and
the
forth.
driver for that?
There was back and forth with Ed in terms of, and then some with Rod as well, about defining the boundaries, the area down there.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the lag, that was just
Yeah.
getting all that worked out before you could come forward? Okay, got it.
Well, that, at the last minute, there was a language change, I believe, the resolution, so, yeah, that's why I'd like to have first reading tonight. I want to get it going.
Oh, yeah, no, I know this is important for you and all of us.
All right, moving on to resolutions then. Let's have the resolution regarding Team All Sport.
Okay.
Can read that?
This is the first reading to accept bid of Team All Sports for the Dogwood Park Field and Baseball Project, to authorize contract and declare emergency.
All right, we've had the first reading. I need a motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for a second and third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
May we have a second reading, please?
To accept bid of Team All Sports for the Dogwood Park Field and Baseball Project, to authorize contract and to declare emergency.
I think that we've probably had sufficient discussion. Is there any other thing that anyone would quickly like to add? This would be the point to do it. No? If not, all right, may we have the third reading, please?
To accept bid of Team All Sports for the Dogwood Park Field and Baseball Project, to authorize contract, and to declare emergency.
All right, a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Air?
I'm not comfortable unless we add something in that we really only intend to spend $400,000 with Team All Sports. Can we amend the I'll just add that comment into the minutes? Then I would find that okay, because we're writing this thing out like we're gonna spend $637,000 with them, and we're not.
I'm not sure at this point of the procedure that you should have brought that up before. I mean, we're voting on it now.
Well, I did bring it up.
Well, but again, we're in discussion phase for this thing, right? Can you, I don't think you didn't ask to amend the resolution, what I heard you say. I heard you say amending the minutes or the
Yeah, I
resolution.
just put in the minutes that the council intends to spend approximately
we did discuss that. We discussed that.
We don't have to amend
The minutes, not the
point that
resolution.
you're
Put it in the
raising right now,
minutes. Just put it in
that's
the minutes.
What you just said, we're going.
That we intend, that council understands that we'll be spending approximately $400,000 with Team All Sports.
Yes, that's what Bob just said. He just said that was the intention tonight,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
pass.
Yeah, in fact, right.
Yeah, then, as long as that's in the minutes, I'm good. And so I am an aye to the.
Okay.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York. All right. You've just about thrown me off my pace here. I need a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Resolution is good.
Okay, this is a first reading, a resolution implementing sections 3735.65 through 3735.70 of the Ohio Revised Code to expand the boundaries of community reinvestment area in the village of Mariemont, Ohio.
Okay, that's the first reading. We'll have the second reading next week. And I think we have a little unfinished business here, I believe, on the resolution that we have to amend the resolution that we passed on an emergency basis on Thursday? Friday?
It was Friday.
Friday?
But Hamilton County has asked that we insert an additional sentence, which has never been done before. But anyhow, they've said they want it, so that's what we're gonna do.
Didn't it just update the dates? We had the last 5 years in there last time where it should be the.
Yeah, but they wanted that
Yeah.
sentence, that particular sentence in there. It doesn't change any action with the resolution, it just, a double clarification of the time frame.
All right, so who's going to make the motion?
So moved.
Well, you gotta say what the motion is,
We have
Bill.
to have the motion is.
To amend the resolution, right?
Well, one of these gentlemen
Wait,
have to say that.
No, this resolution says to amend,
Is it?
so
Oh.
we
Oh,
just
the-
need to pass this as an emergency, because it's in the title to amend.
To amend
Resolution
resolution. Okay.
R40.
Okay, so we're voting to amend that resolution.
In the title of this, it's amending Resolution R40, which is what you passed on Friday.
Okay.
So we're voting on this resolution to amend it.
Correct. What you
Yes.
did Friday.
Yes.
And it's basically the same thing with just that added sentence in it. We're doing two things all at once.
Okay, we're doing two things.
And we have to do this on emergency.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, so are we going to have readings then of this?
Just by title, yes.
She did.
Just by title?
Yeah.
All right, so we've just had that, was that the first reading?
No, I haven't read it.
We'll read it then.
Are you ready for the first reading?
Yes, we're ready, please.
Okay, all right. To amend Resolution Number R4025, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
All right. A motion and a second to suspend the rules and allow for the second, third reading.
So moved.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York? May we have the second reading, please?
Yes, to amend Resolution Number R4025, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
Apparently, we've already had the discussion. Everybody understands this. May we have the third reading?
To amend resolution number R4025, resolution declaring the necessity of levying a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for permanent improvements and requesting the county auditor to certify matters in connection therewith and to declare emergency.
All right. A motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Second? Mr. Ayer?
I'd just like to make the point that it seems like we're in agreement now with the outside counsel who told us we don't need to have something on the agenda in order to
I spoke
have
with that,
something
yeah.
at a regular meeting, just so that we all remember that.
No, I did speak
So,
to that.
yes, aye.
Aye.
I think, though, we're making an exception here tonight about
Okay,
not
let's,
having
we're
it.
halfway
No,
through
no,
a
no,
vote.
Bill, let's not go there, because
Bill,
you
we're
and I've
halfway
had that
through a
conversation with Ed. He agrees.
He
Okay.
agreed.
We don't need to go there. Don't need to go there tonight.
Don't do it, please.
It's
You
not
know-
on the agenda and we're passing it.
Passing it.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett? Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York? Well, I'm a little.
Bill?
You know better.
Just finish up.
All right, a motion and a second to evoke the emergency clause, please.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer?
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett?
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone?
Aye.
Mr. York?
Aye.
All right. I say this little mess is adjourned.
Hold on.
Oh.
Chris, have you heard from J.K. Muir on pickleball?
We've got a pre-construction meeting tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. Because I just need to give a heads up to the high school for soccer, not soccer,
And-
for
Yeah.
the fall tennis.
I should be able to call you tomorrow at 11 a.m. and tell you, because we got the meeting at 10, so.
And do we have any of the bids back in for the other part of it?
No, I've not seen anything for the seal coating and the repair. So it's still just the asphalt work to build the extra area.
Okay.
So I don't,
So Jim had sent this memo to you about in Buttonbecker, the garden lots there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think he wanted this as part of the council pack, so I'll submit it, we can have it
Okay,
today.
yeah,
We just met with Dexter, and if you've seen those garden plots there, it's just not practical,
Yeah.
because they're gone all summer. So hopefully we can resolve all that. But thank you, Chris.